Yeah. Trainer Tom here to talk to you all about tennis elbow. And no, this is not exclusive to tennis players. It's just oftentimes called tennis elbow because of the nature of swinging the old racket around and how that can influence the extensor muscles of the forearms, which are the muscles in question when we're talking about tennis elbow. Now, if we're talking about golfer's elbow, we can kind of make this video about both because a lot of the same rules apply. But golfer's elbow is on the other side. And again, not exclusive to golfers. It's just common amongst golfers because of the nature of swinging the club around. But I'm sure that tennis players can get golfer's elbow and vice versa. Because again, this is something that can affect literally anybody, whether you play tennis or golf, you're a weightlifter, some other kind of athlete, or just somebody who types away at their computer a lot, which is many of us, or does the phone thing a lot. It's a repetition thing. So repetitious need to use the muscles of the forearms again. Extensors when we're talking about the tennis elbow, more of the flexors when we're talking about golfer's elbow. So straining those muscles, but another consideration is going to be weakness and or tightness, which can oftentimes accompany that strain effect. But before I really get into it, why should you even listen to Trainer Tom? Well, first of all, I'm just obsessed with managing pain, preventing injury, all that good stuff. But I am also somebody who, in my younger days, developed both tennis elbow and golfer's elbow in both arms. Of course I did. Of course I did. And no, I don't play tennis. I don't play golf. You know, dabbled in tennis here and there, played a little bit of that mini golf, but those are not the reasons I have my issues. It's more from weightlifting, kickboxing, that kind of stuff. Just a lot of impact on those elbows, a lot of tightness in surrounding areas. That's something to consider here too. The body is a unit. So just because our elbows are hurting and some of the muscles in our forearms doesn't mean that's the only issue to consider. There could be weakness in the hands, the wrists, biceps, triceps, shoulders, whatever. The body, again, it works as a unit. And this goes for other parts of the body, of course. So if you have issues in your knees, that can influence your hip, your low back, whatever. So very important consideration there when I get into the nitty-gritty of how you go about managing these things. Before I start the demonstrations, let me just say too, thankfully, a lot of the ways in which you prevent the tennis elbow is also how you treat it. It's just going to be, if you're treating it, it's going to be probably a gentler version of how you prevent it. So prevention is going to be having, again, a strong body as a whole, but, in regards to the elbows, you're really going to want to make sure that the forearms are strong. So if we are treating the issue, take it slower. You can honestly even start with a freaking can of soup and do what I'm going to show you in a moment here. And then, progress accordingly from there. But we're basically, when we're dealing with tennis elbow, the extensors, we want to do our forearm curls as such. Mobilizing this area, working it out, driving the blood flow, gentle stuff. You can, if you're treating the issue, you could honestly do this every day for a lot of reps. You don't even really have to count the reps, I would say. You're just trying to feel that burn. And then again, you can do this for sets, but you don't have to necessarily go crazy and do 10 sets, 2-3 sets of multiple reps. That's a great place to start. And then over time, as you see fit, perhaps add a little bit more weight, and then this will definitely help you manage that issue. So again, when we're talking about tennis elbow, extending the weight with the forearms. You can also use a neutral grip up and down. That's also going to be helpful for challenging those muscles. When we're talking about golfer's elbow, it's going to be more about the flexion. So more of a supinated palm here. But I really like doing this one actually standing up with the arm hanging, and you curl it in, engaging all those muscles. But the forearms can do more than just extend and flex. It can also rotate. They can supinate and pronate. So if you're feeling crazy, you could also try, again, with light weight, do a little bit of that rotation. See how I'm holding one end of the dumbbell here? Yeah. Boop, boop. Fantastic. Now, you don't necessarily need to use dumbbells. I encourage dumbbells if you have access, but you can also use bands. Just going to awkwardly sit here and kind of show you beep, beep, extension, flexion, good stuff. But outside of simply mobilizing the area and strengthening it in this way, I'm also a big believer in the benefits of massage. Okay, now that does not mean you have to go out and hire a massage therapist necessarily. You can do this yourself. Again, everybody's an individual, but I do encourage you to not be like especially gentle. You can, take it slow, but ultimately you want to really be digging into those muscles and again, opening things up, driving blood flow. Hands are great. You can use your hands, or if you have the means to acquire a massage gun, that's great as well. So, working extensors all around the forearms, really. It's going to be great. You can even do your freaking hands, biceps, triceps, shoulder. And I'm not saying just like do a little beep, beep, beep. You want to spend, some time, okay? At least 10 seconds in any given area, okay? Don't just go through the motions here. But outside of a massage gun, you can also use trusty roller. This is one of my favorite ways to go about it. You don't want to get down and dirty on the ground and go beep, beep, beep. Really lean into that roller. Now, a more intense way to go about it, this is one not necessarily everybody's going to have access to, but you can use a little fruit by the foot or compression floss, voodoo band, whatever you want to call it. And this is basically a rubber band dealio that you wrap around any given area, not your neck, more like elbows, wrists, knees, ankles. And by doing that, you're going to want to wrap it pretty tightly. Ideally, you're going to maybe have some professional guidance when utilizing this stuff, but you can buy it on Amazon, whatever. Wrap the area up, and depending on how tightly you wrap it, it's going to make it a little bit harder to move, but you're going to want to try and do some motions. And once you take that sucker off, so we're cutting off the blood flow with the band, and when we release, boo, fresh blood comes in, helps things recover. It's going to feel like butter. But again, none of this stuff is a one-time solution. You got to do this stuff for the long haul, okay? And I'm not saying you necessarily have to be going crazy with the massage and everything on a regular basis, but especially when we're treating the issue, it's going to be very helpful, at least I believe. Actually, one more final note that I totally forgot to mention, but combined with the massage, I do think it's great to do other kinds of stretches statically. So after you've done your massage in the area, do static holds for 30 seconds plus, stretching out those extensors. That's usually when you have your wrist down, pull on it like so. You can even kind of pull that thumb, stretch it out that way. And then the flexors is going to be more with flat palm. Alrighty, so don't do the static holds when the muscles are cold. You want to make sure that there's already some good blood flow going through there, because then the muscles are going to be able to stretch further and safer. And all of this will come together to give you them Popeye forearms, or at the very least help you manage your tennis elbow, golfer's elbow. Hopefully this helps. Have a great rest of your day, night, whatever it may be for you.